Guys, this is a very sad situation, and I don't think life should come to this. I don't think it should come to this. So, thousands of people die in the UK every year, right? And amongst these people who are dying are also immigrants. Yes, immigrants are not immune to death. We also die. Right. And some of these immigrants are people who came to the UK, made the UK their home, saved loads of money in the bank. Some even bought properties. Some acquired loads of things like wealth, houses, etc. And they die without leaving a will, or they die without ever identifying their next of kin prior to their death. So last month, the UK government updated the list of people from different countries who have died in the UK and left their unclaimed estates or their unclaimed monies in the bank or their unclaimed properties. Hey God. The list had over 5,800 people in it. All these 5,800 people are not originally from the UK. They are from different places. And out of this list, this 5,800 plus people, right, there were about 170 names that were of African descent. Okay. So the list that the UK government released, right, they will give your name and then they'll give when you died or where you're originally from, right? And out of these 170 people who are thought to be from Africa, there were about 58 of our Nigerian brothers and sisters or our Nigerian aunties and uncles on the list. These are 58 Nigerians who have died or who died in the UK or died elsewhere, and nobody has claimed their properties yet. So unfortunately, they did not list out exactly what the properties are, okay, on the list. So when you look at the list, it actually shows the day, month, and year that this person died, where they died, and then it shows their marital status as at the time of their death, okay? So you can see, so what you're seeing on the screen right now is the list that has just been released by the government, okay? So an example, we have, let's say, Adenike Adebiyi, Nigeria, and then the person's marital status is unknown, and then their address is on there. There's another one, Abel Lota Kwa Abura, Nigeria. The date of death was 5th of February 1998, and then the place of death is there, and the person was a widower. So guys, that's how it looks. Okay, so that's how come we've been able to tell the number of people from African descent and the number of people who are Nigerians on this list. And the reason why Nigerians, it has become a talk, is that 58 is quite a huge number, okay? And that is why we are really concerned about this, because the sad part about this whole situation is that if nobody claims these properties within a specified time frame, all these properties become that of the UK government. That is what we don't want, do we? So in this video, I'm going to show you what you can do so that for those of you who are watching me who are alive now, the things that you can do so you don't fall into such situations. God forbid, should you die or should any of your loved ones die. And as well, if you know anybody on the list, maybe it's an old uncle, maybe it's an old auntie, maybe this person has died, people have had a funeral, buried and all of that, but people didn't even know this person had properties in the UK, how you can actually go and claim these properties before they become the ownership of the UK government. So as you can see, check if the names appear familiar. Do the names appear familiar, guys? Are you related to anybody on the list? There's a way that you can claim and get these items instead of it going to the government. Because for me, I think that it's better for extended family members to have, these properties done for the government. The UK government's already rich to grab these things. So guys, stay tuned. This is a very important video that I feel like you have to send to everybody on your contact list, honestly. Stop that. So hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. On this channel, I talk about nursing, I talk about migration, I talk about life in the UK as an immigrant in general. So if these are topics that interest you, please consider subscribing. So there are people who come to the UK, they work 2 or 3 jobs and they save loads of money, they acquire certain properties, and their families, even those that live with them here in the UK, have no idea how much they have in their bank. There are some married couples that even their partners don't even have a clue how much money they have in their bank, or let's say they even have several bank accounts that their partners do not even know. Some people, their partners don't even know how much they earn in a year. Obviously, these people on the list, I'm sure they didn't know they were going to die. And death can happen. I mean, not lots of people know they are going to die unless you get to a very certain age. For those people who die much younger, they don't know they are going to die. So I believe that is another reason why there was no will. And the law in the UK states that when somebody dies interstate, somebody dies without a will, their asset is classified as Bona Vacantia. I don't know if I'm saying it well, but it means that ownerless goods, leaving all these assets to the custody of the government. And for some of these people, let's say they came to the UK alone, they left their wives or their husbands back in Nigeria or wherever, and their family did not even know they had acquired some of these assets in the UK, so they are clueless. So they've had the funeral and they are probably suffering back home, not having a clue the amount of money that this person had in their UK bank account, etc. So now, before we dive into what you can do to claim it if you know somebody on the list, what causes this? I think that especially for people of African descent, the major thing that causes this is like the fact that it's like a taboo to talk about death when you're not even dead yet. You know, a lot of people say, don't say when you die. I mean, God forbid. Like, the topic of death is like forbidding. You can't even tell your partner, so when I die, please give this to you. It's forbidden. Your partner does not even want to hear it. And I feel like that is something that we should try and do away with. We are not saying you should die, but especially after you have acquired some things, to me, I think that it will be better for your bad, evil, wicked family members back home to get your assets should you die than to let the UK government, who's already rich, use it. Abby? Some people also don't trust family members enough to let them know exactly their financial situations in the UK, because once they let them know that they are making £100,000 a year, they will not stop asking them for money. So they don't tell them. They say, I'm suffering, the cold is too much, I even want to come back home. The UK, there's nothing to the UK, I regret coming to the UK. Some people sing that song because they don't want their families back home to know that, oh, life is actually good, they are wealthy, because immediately they say that, they know black tax, they'll start now asking them and demanding for huge things, my son's school fees, my hospital bills, blah blah blah. That's, I understand. Another thing that causes this is there are some people that lived in the UK and then maybe when they retired, right, they went back to their home countries, okay? Because for instance, for me, I know a friend whose grandmother was a cleaner in the UK many years ago, maybe in the 1990s, right? Made a lot of money, became British, but then when she retired, she went back to Ghana to live in Ghana. She's built a small house in Ghana. She's enjoying life in Ghana. However, she has some properties here and then she takes her pension. Obviously, when she converts her pension in Ghana, it will make more sense, or it will be a lot, and then she can live on that in Ghana. So for somebody like this, let's say she had 2 houses in London and nobody knew about it, none of her family members knew about it. Should she die in Ghana, there will be nobody to go and claim it in the UK or in London for her. Okay, so many people come to the UK, they acquire wealth, but then when they retire, at a certain point in their lives, they go back to their home countries to live without informing family members of their properties that they had in the UK, and they don't leave a will as well. So when they die, these things become the properties of the UK government. Now, before we talk about what we can do, for those who have seen a familiar name on the list, I'll also leave a link in the description below, right? So that you can access the actual page on the Gov'T website and go through the list. If you know of any relative who once lived in the UK, go through the list and see, okay? So there's a way that you can actually claim, and let me just briefly go over that, okay? So the name of the person and the date of death should help you, right, know whether this is really the person you're thinking it is. And then not everybody can make a claim. You have to be eligible to make a claim. So first of all, if the person made no will, like all of these people on there, if the person made no will, then the immediate person who's eligible to make all these claims are the person's spouse or their partners and the children. They have the first claim to the estate. So if you are their niece's cousin's auntie's son, don't hurriedly go. If their spouse or their children are still alive, don't be the one to go. You can educate them to make the claim. Right? You are not the first claim to the estate, okay? Also, if there's no spouse or there's no child, let's say this person was a spinster or a bachelor, according to the Gov'T website, let me read this. It says, anyone descended from a grandparent of the person is entitled to a share in the estate. And then they're saying that if you are related by marriage, you have no entitlement. Now, if you are adopted, you have the same right as if you have been born into the adopted family. So let's say this person who died and is on this UK government list is actually your adopted father. You have legal documents to show that this person adopted you. You are considered as the person's biological son, sort of. So you also have a first claim to the person's estate. However, if you've been adopted, now, if your biological father is the one on the list, you do not have a claim because you are considered the son of your adopted family or the child of your adopted parent, not the one who's dead. Do you understand? Now, after you check whether you're eligible or not, right, they would also ask you to submit evidences to prove that actually you are related to this person. So I'm reading exactly what the Gov'T says. You'll be asked to send a family tree showing your relationship and 2 pieces of identification. So you have to prove your relationship with this deceased person, and then you also have to show 2 pieces of identification and one showing your name, address, which has been dated in the last 3 months. You may also be asked to send, let's say, your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, or the death certificate of this person, etc. Now, there are other people who are not related per se to this deceased person but can also make a claim. okay? You have the legal right to make a claim. One, if when the person was alive, you were providing services for the person, okay? Let's say you were the person's carer, you were taking care of them, cooking, shopping, etc. Where otherwise they may have had to pay, but you were doing it for the person and the person has died, you didn't get anything. If you can prove all these things, you are also eligible to make a claim to the estate, okay? Another is if you live together with this person as an unmarried partner, you live together with this person as an unmarried partner, you can also make a claim. And another is if you are a charity, okay, or if you run a charity that cared for this person when they were alive, okay, at a considerable expense, you also qualify to make a claim to this person's estate. Now, if you also know of anybody who has died and has properties where they don't have a will, you can also refer this person also to the appropriate body. And I'll leave all the details in the description, okay? If you know somebody who has died without a will and has left properties, let's say you were sharing a house with somebody in the UK, the person has died and they have left their phones, maybe a bag full of cash or their car or whatever, their details, right? And you can also refer, we call it refer an estate, okay? You should only refer an estate if the person did not leave a will, if there are no blood relatives, or if the person left more funds than debts. Otherwise, the estate is insolvent, okay? So you can make a referral of this estate also to the appropriate body. I'll leave the link to the body you can make a referred estate to in the description, okay? So the government's legal department, I'll leave their contact details on the screen as well, guys. But when it comes to Scotland and Northern Ireland, there are other bodies that you can reach out to, not necessarily the government legal department in England, okay? There are other similar bodies as well that you can reach out to, that I'll leave all their details in the description, guys. But for the rest of us who are alive at this moment, okay, we've come to the UK, we are working as nurses, you're working as carers, as teachers, as accountants, as IT personnel, and we are making a bit of money. Even if you have just £5,000 in your account and you should die today, okay, that 5,000 can actually be of benefit to your family members. If you are married and you die without a will, like I said, automatically the first claim to the estate will be your spouse and your children. If you are not married and nobody is able to claim this, they don't even know you have this money, it will become the ownership of the government if nobody claims in a specified period of time. What is my advice? I think that as Africans, we should do away with that thought and start making wills. Even if all you have is an iPad and a phone, you can make a will. So apparently you can even make a will online. I don't know the details about it, but speak to a proper lawyer or a solicitor or whatever, okay, or read more about it, okay? But I've read somewhere that you can actually even just make a will online. If you have trusted family members or trusted spouse, just let your spouse know what you have. So just so you know, I have this money in this account. God forbid, should anything happen, use this for our baby's education in the future. Should anything happen, invest this money in this mutual fund or index fund, and maybe you can support yourself and our children. Let a trusted family member know or some of the things that you have hidden in other places. And once you get more things, you can update your will. Okay, the will should be updated. Let's say when you came to the UK, you bought your house, so your house is on the will. Or maybe along the line, you started a mutual fund. Maybe you watched Nanelle's video, she spoke about index fund, and you actually started an index fund, but you didn't tell anybody about it. Update the will. Include the index fund in it once you get new things, so that there won't be any trouble when you die. And your family, it will not go waste. These rich people already will not also enjoy this thing on top of all their things that they have. But guys, what are your thoughts on this issue? The UK government did not really state exactly what these people left behind. But if their names have been published, some of them died in the 1990s, God. Their bodies are probably rotten by now. And the thing is, if it was money that was in the bank account, this money is still accumulating interest till date. If it was a property that they bought, this property now is of so much value. Guys, what are your thoughts? I feel like there are so many people suffering in Africa that these things will benefit them than for it to become the ownership of the UK government. Guys, what do you think? Comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.